Hi, my name is Tracy. Welcome to Audubon at Home. So today I'm outside in one of my favorite spots at our Caratunk Wildlife Refuge, and I'm going to make a home for little creatures. Some people like to call them toad abodes because small animals like toads will seek shelter in little tiny homes that you can make out of the natural material that you have around you. You can also make them for little mice, and we call them mouse houses. Gnome homes, if you are interested in gnomes or fairies, they could be fairy houses or gnome homes as well. So what I'm doing now is I'm looking around for natural material that would be just perfect for constructing my home. And I'm looking for material from pine cones, pine needles, things that are already not growing. I don't want to pick anything or pull anything out of the ground that needs to be in nature for animals to use and for plants to do their job in nature. So the rule is to try to find things that are not growing for your animal home, your toad abode. So gathering materials is one step that you want to do, and of course you want to be mindful in your area, and you can do this in your backyard, in a garden. If you have a little patch of woods around you, it's always fun too. In all of those places you want to make sure you are familiar with poison ivy. So let me show you what poison ivy looks like. So you see this hairy vine? That is poison ivy vine, and you want to be careful that you're not building or you're not rubbing up against any kind of hairy vine. That is poison ivy in its winter form before it starts to leaf out, and it still has the oils that if you touch it or you rub up against it can give you an itchy rash. There is a saying to try to recognize it. We say, hairy rope, nope, don't touch it. So pretty soon poison ivy vine is going to start showing its leaves of 3. It can be wrapped around a tree trunk, it can be down low on the ground. It is a vine, so it can go wherever it wants to go, likes the edge of trails and paths, but it's pretty much everywhere. And how you recognize it is leaves of 3, let it be. Let's find a really good spot for our home for our little critters. When I'm looking for a place for my animal home, I want to make sure there is nothing that might be uncomfortable or dangerous for me or the animals I'm building this home for, or the fairies and gnomes. So notice here, this is called briar, and it's prickly and thorny, so I'm not going to be in this area. I do like right here in front, there's a little bit of a wall and a nice little spot that I think I could work off of. It's nice and flat here. It's also going to be out of the way of where people might be walking, because I don't want anybody to accidentally step on my little gnome home or toad abode. There may be an animal in there. Actually, one time with a group of kids we made a nice little toad abode, and when we looked inside the next day there was a polyphemus moth inside. So that was a real treat. So you never know who might be in there. I found my location. I love it. It's nice and flat. It's got a little protection on the side. This is where I'm going to build my toad abode. Now I need to gather some materials. So I'm looking for some nice twigs, different sizes, and some pine cones are good. These can all help with the frame. I'm going to be building the frame now, and one of the easiest types of frames to make for your toad abode or fairy house is a teepee style. And they really like that, and it's finding sticks that are about the right size to put together at the tip. And I'm really digging in the dirt to make it stay. This kind of frame was used in traditional houses by many of the first peoples of different tribes, either to build a Wetu type frame, or if they were traveling and following out west herds of bison, a teepee style, which they could take down and put up very easily. So this is just an easy frame of 4 sticks, and again, they're dug into the ground and make them really sturdy. Now I want to figure out, well, where's my door going to be? And I would like my door to be right here. So I'm going to try to leave a little area open for my little animals and fairies and gnomes to get inside and out. So I'm now going to fill in and create more of the wall of my house with sticks, except for again where the door is. So I'm just finding some sticks that are the right size and just kind of filling it in. And I also might fill in some spots with some pine cones on the outside because I like the look of that. So I'm starting to do that too, but I'm probably going to just make that part of the outside and get a few more sticks in the middle. So when you are building, include your brothers and sisters and give everybody a job. One person's job can be gathering the sticks for the frame. One person's job can be putting the frame together, digging it into the ground. Another person's job can be to gather things for the outside layer, things that maybe look nice like pine cones. So we're going to put a whole bunch of pine cones on the outside layer, and things like leaves, pine boughs I've gathered. If you have other natural materials, you can use them too. If you're near a beach and you want to put shells along the outside, or maybe make a shell door, you can do that too. So everybody can be involved. So I'm going to put some filler in there, and I've got these nice pine boughs that can fill in some of the space. So I'm going to do some filling in with some of the sticks that I gathered that are on the ground that have some pine needles on them. And I just like the look of that on the top. I think that looks really pretty. So you can be creative with what you find and fill it in. I'm going to put some different layers of it. Actually, I've decided I want less stick and more pine needles. It reminds me of a hut. So I really like that look. So I'm putting a layer of pine cones around as well. And I see in the back, I'm going to fill that in with a little bit of bark too. So look at all these different materials that you can use. And you may have some different ones at your house in your yard that I don't even have here. I'm trying to use what I have around me, just like the animals that live here. I need more bark and more roofing, so I'm going to go on a hunt for some more bark. Follow me. Oh, I love this moss, but this moss is growing, and it's on this tree, and it's protecting all the little bugs that live inside this rotting log. So I'm not going to use that moss. Let's try a different spot. I have found all kinds of bark that is not being used. The tree fell down and the bark fell down, and so this bark is okay for me to use for my mouse house. So I'm going to grab some and put it on my house. One other thing that I wanted to do for my little mouse house, Toad Abode, is to give a nice little walkway, just to make it feel more homey for them. So I'm going to line it with some pine cones, and I'm going to clear some of this out to make it easier for them to walk in. I'm creating a little path and I'm lining the path. And I'm choosing some of my favorite pine cones because I want them to feel welcomed. I want them to feel like this is a place I want to live and have shelter from a storm, or a place I can feel safe. And that's good. That's a nice little place. And I can still take some of these pine cones and line the back. And I have some bark that I collected that I'm going to fill in some of the gaps. So I'm taking different pieces of bark. It's like a puzzle. And I'm going to fit it in like that. Well, my Toad Abode fairy house is almost done for today. Like I said, you can go back and you can change it. You can add or take away. Might find different material you like better. But for today, I feel like this is almost complete. What's missing? That's right. We need a door. So I found perfect size for the door. It's going to go right there. But I don't want this to be closed. I want animals and fairies and gnomes to be able to go inside. So I'm going to leave the door open. So you can build a toad abode, a fairy house, a gnome home, or anything for a small animal just like this by using all the materials that you can find. Make sure they're natural, make sure it's safe where you're putting the house, make sure you don't touch any poison ivy or any pricker bushes, and thank you for joining us at Audubon at Home.